Yo, what's going on everybody? Welcome yourself to a video in which I will discuss my thoughts on Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Background footage is Pokemon Quest, which is this really weird, basically mobile game on the Switch that's coming to mobile in June. It's weird, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. So that's what the background footage is, for anyone wondering. It's free on the eShop, but I don't know if you have to pay for content or if it's just pay for getting these items or what or anything of that sort. I don't know. Regardless. So, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. For those unaware, these are the upcoming Pokemon Switch titles. However, they have already announced that a brand new, like completely, or a brand new Pokemon game will be coming in the second half of 2019 for the Switch. So don't think, oh man, this is what we've been waiting for. Not really. This appears to be more of like an appetizer before the full meal, as opposed to what we've actually been waiting years and years and years for. So, I'm not going to show screenshots or gameplay because Nintendo would probably have my ass if I tried to do that. So I'm just going, if you haven't watched the trailer for it already, do yourself a favor, pause this video and go watch it. Unless I forget, I'll put it in the description, but anyway. So, let me start with my overall thoughts before I get fully in depth with it. I'm still gonna play this game. I'm mildly excited for it, but not super excited for it. And there's a lot of reasons why. For example, this is seemingly based in Pokemon Yellow. Think of it kind of like a really souped up, really different version of Pokemon Yellow, or so it seems to be. I'd say more of a remaster, I guess, than a remake, but yeah. So, the reason I mention that is because I'm not a big Kanto fan. Kanto is my second least favorite Pokemon region. And that's not to say, you know, if you think Kanto is good, you're wrong. I myself just don't like it. I have my fair share of reasons for not liking it. I don't know, I just didn't think it was interesting after a couple of times playing through it, whether it be in other games or just the fact that it's mentioned in like every other Pokemon game or anything of that sort. That's besides the point. So that's one of my main reasons for being a little iffy on it. But I wouldn't say that's a huge reason. You know, they're probably gonna change it up at least enough to where it's pretty different, or so I would hope. That's what it looks like, at least. But, as well, one thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way is the Pokemon Go-esque catching. And, you know, admittedly, it makes sense that they have something like this because it's basically a new Pokemon game with Pokemon Go integration, hence the Let's Go. I mean, shit, you can catch Pokemon in Let's Go, or you can catch Pokemon in Let's Go and transfer them to Pokemon Go, you can catch Pokemon in Pokemon Go and transfer them to Let's Go. It makes sense that they have something very similar to it. But, I'm not a fan. It's something that I hope is optional, because from the looks of it, it's motion controls, but I'm hoping, you know, that motion controls are optional. Seeing as the motion controls were optional in something like Splatoon, I would assume that, or Splatoon, Breath of the Wild, other games of that nature, I would assume that it's not going to be forced upon you, but will rather be optional. I would hope that's the case, because if not, that's going to be very annoying, especially if you are a person like me who isn't the most lucky when trying to catch something like, I don't know, like a legendary Pokemon or something, and ends up having to spend like, I don't know, fucking 40, 60 Pokeballs, or just a rather balls of some form. As you would imagine, it'd probably get tiring having to throw a Pokeball like that over and over and over. But, I don't know, maybe overall catching is different in the game? I don't know. No one knows. It's hard to tell, because we don't know if this is more akin to Pokemon Go, or more so a main series Pokemon game with elements of Pokemon Go sprinkled into it. We don't know, and we won't know for a while, but the games do come out, I believe, in September. I don't remember the exact date. A quick Google search will give you the answer for that, though, so don't hesitate to just search that, because I don't remember. But yeah, so those are some things that I'm a bit iffy on. Now, as for things that have me mildly excited, I'd say the main thing is the graphics. The games look quite nice. One thing that slightly rubs me the wrong way are player models. For some reason, they feel really small. They feel really short. I don't know. It feels kind of stylized. It's like the characters are the only thing that are stylized that way, while the rest of the world is just amped up. I don't know. Maybe it's just gonna take me some getting used to. I honest to God have no clue. But I do think the game looks very pretty. I'm glad they're taking advantage of what they can do on the Switch. I'm very interested in seeing, you know, just how intense these graphics can really get. But for now, at the very least, I can say without a doubt, they look pretty. They look really nice. Certainly certainly what you would expect from a Pokemon Switch game, I suppose, in terms of graphics, in terms of trying to utilize the most out of the Switch. But another thing I actually kind of really like, and I don't know how easy or difficult this is going to be to do, but from what I've said, or from what I've seen and from what I've read, I forget who this came from exactly. I forget if it was the Pokemon CEO who mentioned this, or if it was someone else. There are going to be no wild battles, and I believe one part of the gameplay specifically showed one of the caves. I forget which cave, but you could actually see the Pokemon walking around. Now, I quite like that. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this is more similar to like Pokemon Go in terms of how they do it, but even then, I'm fond of that because at least we know what we're getting ourselves into. What I kind of really do wonder from this though is, are things like shiny Pokemon gonna be seen in the overworld, that sort of thing? I would hope they are as well. Is every Pokemon going to be the same size? Is it going to be like a Pokemon Go sort of thing, where some Pokemon are bigger, some are smaller? Like, what's the deal with that? I want to know, but of course we won't know for a while, implying they don't release information before the game releases, of course, or info doesn't leak. But yeah, so, you know, aside from that, that's what I'm looking forward to, what I'm not looking forward to. But then we had something very interesting that I saw mentioned. So basically, at the end of the trailer, it mentions, I forget exactly what it says, but you know, it's implying there's gonna be some sort of new Pokemon or something. And as you would imagine, with an Eevee, my first instinct, my first assumption was, oh, it's clearly gonna be an Eeveelution or something. Some people were speculating it might end up being a Pikachu evolution, or rather, I guess a Raichu evolution technically. That one Raichu evolution that was mentioned a while back, I believe its name was like Goruchu or something like that. It was basically supposed to be an evolution for Raichu before Pichu was even conceptualized. So it was originally gonna go Pikachu, Raichu, Goruchu, whatever it's called, instead of Pichu, Pikachu, Raichu. Maybe it'll be that. I highly doubt it, but we'll see. The reason I say I highly doubt it is mostly because they only mentioned one completely brand new Pokemon as well. Let me put more emphasis on that. They mentioned it was gonna be a completely brand new Pokemon, and from the way that's phrased, it leads me to believe it's not going to be an evolution of any sort. So maybe a legendary? I don't know. I would hope it's something cool, but you know, I think it'll be something cool. I doubt it would be anything stupid or bad or anything of that sort. I just hope it's not a simple evolution, because then that's a little bit of a letdown. But anyway, so last but not least, let's talk about the little Pokeball accessory, shall we? I think it's cool. I think it's really cool, especially since it helps, and I would assume makes catching a lot easier. Since you are actually holding a Pokeball, you can kind of get a feel for how you should move it, as well as the whole fact that, you know, you can put a Pokemon in there and it's basically a Pokewalker, whatever thing, the little step counter thing back from Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but cooler. Or rather, but cooler, and also an actual controller. I quite like. I think it's really, really cool. I'm not sure about its price tag. Hold up, actually. I'm gonna do some quick Google search. Yen to US dollar. The price for it was roughly 4,800, or yeah, 4,800 yen. So that translates to about $44. So the accessory itself is probably gonna cost like $40, $45, which honestly makes sense considering it's a controller. Like, it makes sense. A normal Switch controller is like roughly around that price anyway, so it's like, okay, that's actually a reasonable price when you consider it's not just an accessory, it's a full-on controller as well. But I think it's cool. I always enjoyed the little Pokewalker thing. I'm curious as to see, you know, what else can come of this little accessory. What else will it really do? How will it really benefit us in the long run, or is it just more for comfort and looking cool? I don't know. Of course, we'll get more details as we get closer to the release of these games, but yeah. Now, before I end off this video, let me ask you guys a simple question. What game are you picking? And I guess that also kind of coincides with what starter are you picking. I was originally going to go with Eevee, but I'm not too sure anymore because apparently the Eevee you get is not going to be able to evolve. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure if that's true. Regardless, I'm personally gonna get Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, and I'm choosing Eevee. What are you guys gonna choose? What starter are you gonna choose? And so on. Anyway, folks, if you have enjoyed this video, this little discussion, of course, be sure to drop a like as well as a comment. Be sure to subscribe if you're really feeling it, and I shall see you guys next time. Bye-bye.